Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. Thank you all for joining me once again. I just want to talk a little bit about something here that I think is it's related to a lot of my other videos that I talk about politics and all the rest and social issues. It's related to all of that. This is not something off the cuff, if you will, but then it is off the cuff, okay? It's not directly political, but then it is political. And what I want to talk about is not allowing certain people and certain subjects or ideologies or worldviews to get into your sphere of influence, in your circle. This is something my pastor have talked about quite some time, but there's another part of that speech that he gave that was revealed to me, if you will. And this is what I mean by not allowing certain ideologies and worldviews and people into your circle of influence. If you really look at what's going on in our country, politically, socially, everything, it's really hard to find any real goodness going on in this country. It really is. You even look at the churches. Some of these churches are a hot mess. And it's sad when you can't even look to the church, generally speaking, as a source of goodness and purity and love. You got corruption in many of the churches. You have these quote unquote pastors that are false prophets and teaching things that are completely unbiblical. You have politicians on both the left and the right that are complete jerks, okay? These people they're only in it for political power and political clout. What was it just recently? Some guy, I was reading an article, and some guy basically took the life of eight of his children. And I think he tried it, and I think he took his wife's life and his own life, something along that line. And when I saw the headline, the title of the article, I said to myself, I hope this is not in America. And I hate to speak like that, but I said to myself, I hope this is not in America. And when I looked and saw that it took place in America, I was just hurt and grieved and bothered. I said to myself, I am so sick and tired of the darkness of people, the evil, the lack of restraint, the lack of morals, the lack of values. And then you add that to the politicians. In response to this taking of this person's life, okay, the eight children's lives being taken, Governor Gavin Newsom, rather than say, I'm grieving, this is really horrible, this is really a terrible situation, and I'm grieving for the loss of innocent life and so forth, he uses this as a political ploy. And he starts ranting about we need to deal with gun control. What the heck does gun control have to do with a father eliminating his children? What does that have to do with anything? He used it as a political ploy. And I'm not saying that because he's a Democrat, because Republicans have done it too. So this is not a Democrat or conservative or liberal or any of that. It's not a talking point. It's reality. I'm starting to dealing more with reality. If you're a conservative and you talking stupid, I'm going to point it out. If you're liberal and you talking stupid, I'm going to point it out. I want to deal with facts. If the factual data happens to be a conservative talking point, then it is what it is. But I'm not saying it because my worldviews have a conservative ideology or conservative bent, if you will. I'm saying it, or I try to say it, because this is reality. I'm not trying to win conservative talking points, if you will. I'm not trying to win points on the conservative side or either side. I'm just trying to tell you the truth as I see it. And when this happened, when Gavin Newsom said this, I was really bothered by it. And I said to myself, I'm so sick and tired of people's self-centeredness, their lack of restraint, whether it's political, whether it's on a social level, whether it's on the so-called spiritual level. It's ridiculous. And what I've come to conclude is this. I feel, and I hope I'm not preaching here, that we have to be careful at who we let in our circle of influence. Certain people I just simply would not let in my circle of influence. The only people, and this is what I mean, the circle of influence is those people that have the most influence in your life, and you have influence, some level of influence in their lives. But it's ramped off, if you will, okay? Certain people saying certain people that you got to be able to say, hey, you're not coming in my circle of influence because I'm not going to allow your nasty lack of self-restraint and all the rest get into my circle and negatively influence me and negatively influence other people in my circle. I'm not going to let you do that. One of the examples is this. I have a new job. It's a security job, obviously. And I'm thankful to God that he blessed me with this new job. And I'm thankful that the people that I work with are not a bunch of loons, are not a bunch of kids, no offense, are not a bunch of kids that don't want to work when everybody else is doing their tours and doing their work. They're hiding somewhere on their phone. I don't have to deal with that, okay? I'm sick and tired of dealing with that. There's no excuse for it, none whatsoever. Stop being a lazy jerk and do what you're supposed to do. I don't have to deal with that to any large extent on my new job. Most of the people on my new job are adults, not kids, okay? They're adults. And the people that I have direct dealings with on my job, there is a limitation with that direct dealings. And these people are not jerks. It's almost like the ones that do tend to go off on the deep end, I'm not around them long. I'm not around them long. They're in and out, boom. And fine with me, because I don't want to be around all that nonsense. I don't want to be around all that complaining and boo-hooing and complain, because there is one particular employee that's like that. But this particular, I come in to relieve this particular employee of their shift, and that's it. But that's usually about 10 minutes. So for 10 minutes, they're speaking all negative and all this. And I'm saying to myself, I'll be glad when this individual go ahead and let me take over the shift. And then it's just me. It's just me in that particular area. I don't have to hear anybody's negative talk and complaining and boo-hooing, because at the end of the day, when we compare what we have here in this country right now, as imperfect as it is, at the end of the day, when we can compare what we have here in this country right now to many of these third world countries, we are still blessed. We need to stop complaining. We need to stop boo-hooing. We need to stop begging, and we need to get up and do what we need to do to make something out of ourselves. I say stuff like that and I get persecuted, but I don't care. Stay out of my circle of influence. If you don't mean well, get the heck away from me. You're going to complain all day, get the heck away from me, because I'm not going to complain. I have all kinds of reasons to complain, and I think sometimes complaining thoughts, and I have to reject those complaining thoughts, because at the end of the day, I'm blessed and highly favored. I have a roof over my head. I have plenty of food to eat. I have nice, decent clothes. I'm clothed in my right mind. I have a job. Really? Nobody is trying to hack me to death with a machete because of my religion, my Christian beliefs at this point. Really? I don't allow certain people into my circle of influence. When I get on the bus and I don't have a car, I know how to drive, but I don't have a car at this present time. So I have to drive, I have to get on the bus to go to church because my job is within walking distance, thankfully. But I have to get on the bus to go to church. And I hate it. I honestly hate it. I hate doing it because when I get on that bus, I know it's usually, I would say 99.9% of the time, it's filled with a bunch of knuckleheads. Not filled with a bunch. Let me take it back. I won't say filled with a bunch of knuckleheads. But it be some knuckleheads on that bus, which is crazy. It's Sunday morning. Do you guys ever have any, Sunday morning, for 7 straight days out of the week, y'all want to just be jerks and you just want to be complainers and boo-hoo and cry about your plight? Is there any kind of inner fortitude in these individuals that can say, hey, man, the benefits that are out here, the privileges that are out here, the opportunities that are out here, let me take hold of these with the best of my abilities and do something with my life? Because sooner or later, it's not going to be here. It's going to be all gone. AI is going to take it all away. But you don't have that nowadays. And when I get on the bus, I'm sitting down and I'd say maybe like a few bus stops up, somebody always gets on the bus complaining they don't have no money, slowing up the bus and everything. And I'd be so tempted to say, man, please, I'm on my way to church. I want to have a good time in service. Please get out of here. Please. Why are you, so many people are broke? And I'm not saying that bad things don't happen to people that put them in this position. But let's be realistic. This is my observations, this is my studies, and this is my experience. A significant number of people that's always broke and always begging, okay, it's because of bad decisions they made that they don't want to learn from those bad decisions. They don't want to learn from it. They experience negative consequences and they don't want to pick themselves up and say, okay, you know what? People are trying to help me. People are trying to get me out of this hole, but I keep refusing it. But let me stop refusing it. Let me do something. Let me take what the advice they gave me and let me do something with it. Most of the people don't want to do that. They get on the bus, they complain and slow up the bus driver. I don't have no money. Anyone on the bus got an extra 50 cents? I get so sick and tired of that. Say, stay out of my, I'm not trying to be complaining on this video. I'm just trying to show y'all my state of mind. Man, we have to not allow certain people and certain worldviews to get into our circle of influence. All this negativity and hatred and lies and the mainstream media is filled with negativity. The mainstream media and many of these movies are the same way. Look at a lot of these movies. I was watching a video about the title was Why Horror Movies Don't Feel the Same Anymore. I know that's kind of strange to be talking about horror movies, but I listened to the guy, and everything he was saying was absolutely true. It's exactly how I've been feeling. And what he meant by why horror movies don't feel the same anymore, and why movies in general, really, let me add that to it, don't feel the same anymore, is because many of the films in the 70s and the 80s and even the 90s, horror and action, they were very, very entertaining, but they always had this concept, this idea of evil overcoming good. Rather, good overcoming evil. There was always some redemptive value in the characters in these movies, whether they were action movies or horror movies or whatever. There was always some kind of redemptive character traits in these movies. And there was always some type of moral message there. And how about it may be not have been as obvious, there was always that moral concept there in the movies. Okay, whether they were action movies, whether they were horror movies, didn't matter. Okay, and it doesn't mean every movie have to have some kind of message in it or anything like that. Doesn't mean that necessarily. But the point is simply this: the films of then, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, as compared to films today, are almost like night and day. The films today are so dark and so depressing, especially the horror movies. This is what this young man said. The horror movies are so dark and depressing, and almost all of them are about demon possession. The newest movie, The Mummy, it doesn't even look this, and I didn't see it and don't want to see it, never did want to see it. when it first showed the trailer, because I said, oh, it's another demon possession movie. I don't want to see another demon possession movie. These demon possession movies, I'm sick of them. What is up with all the demon possession movies? Is it just to make money? Is the demon possession movies money makers, or are the Hollywood producers trying to push this overly negative, overly dark concept and worldview towards everyone? This idea that everything is hopeless and nothing's good going to ever happen. Your plight is hopeless, and the only way that you're going to get saved is through the almighty government or the almighty people at the top of the pyramid. Is that what they're pushing? I believe so to some extent, and it's sickening. My point is simply this: don't let all this kind of stuff get into your world. We have to, on our own, and like I said, I'm sorry if I sound like I'm preaching, but I feel like we have to separate ourselves psychologically and sometimes physically from a lot of all this negative stuff. And every now and then read some books that are positive and edifying and build you up constructively and cultivate your strengths. And, and then you go back out there and deal with the rigmarole, but at least you have some positivity in there that can help you navigate through the bull crap. Okay? We're surrounded by this stuff. So I just feel like I just wanted to say that because it can bring you down. It can bring you down to the lowest of lows. A lot of people feel helpless. A lot of people feel hopeless. They feel like there's no way out, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way because we're surrounded by so much nonsense. I'm a big fan of the 80s. I'm a huge fan of the 80s. People say, you always talk about the 80s. I talk about the 80s because it was the greatest time in my life. It was the greatest decade of my life. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. And now here's where we get into the political part, okay? I believe that part of the reason why the 80s was such a great time, a great decade, was in part because of the political atmosphere. Under Ronald Reagan, I know people, oh, he a Republican, whatever. His administration, and I'm dealing with facts here, from my perspective and what I've observed, his administration was very positive. He talked a lot about positivity and positive vibes and all of this. And a lot of the movies and songs, a large extent of them, reflected that worldview, reflected that zeitgeist, reflected that spirit of the age. So it was even though there was a lot of crazy things going on in the 80s, it wasn't a perfect decade, obviously. It's a lot of crazy things went on in the 80s, but it was considered then and now to be the greatest decade in all of American history to a lot of people. Economically, socially, politically, I mean, it was that, and I believe part of the reason for that was because of the Reagan administration. As imperfect as it was, he did push a lot of positive mentality stuff, and he was all about family values. Now you could argue, well, that was just for political reasons and family values and all this kind of stuff. Okay, you could argue that, but at the end of the day, that's what he was doing. That's what he was pushing. That's what he was promoting. That was a campaign he ran on. And then it started. After the Reagan administration, things just started getting darker and darker and darker and darker and darker. And we're moving into the 2000s, particularly after 9/11, all hell, everything changed. The whole mindset of the country changed. Movies became darker and more horrific and less positive in terms of the outcome. Just saying. We have to watch who enters our personal circle of influence. I'm just saying. I could go on and on with this, but I went longer than I planned on doing, but I just wanted to pull my heart out about this because I think this is a real major issue. We just got to watch who enters our circle of influence, and I'm certainly watching who enters my circle of influence. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say about that. What do you guys think on it? What are you guys' concepts and ideas on this, what I just mentioned? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.